Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here. Today we're going to be taking our first look at the Great Gatsby Book Test, version 2. Hello my friends, and welcome back to another first look video where my job is to take a closer look at a new product that has just come out before anyone else has had a chance to review it. And in today's video we're going to be taking a look at, of course, the Great Gatsby Book Test version 2. Now, those of you who are very familiar with Josh Zandman's book test, you might remember the Great Gatsby as being one of the very first book tests that he released through Theory 11. Now, this Great Gatsby Book Test version 2 is going to be similar, but also very, very different as well. In the original version, it included the original Zandman book test method, as well as a second bonus method using a long word principle. This version here, version 2, is packed full of 6 full different methods, all using this Great Gatsby book test. Now, 2 of the methods will require other books, but 4 out of the 6, all you need is just this one book. Now, my favorite thing about this so far is that not only is it jammed packed full of material, it's also one of the thinnest out of all of them. So if you're like me, you like to do a lot of walk around magic, this fits very comfortably just right here inside of my jacket pocket, ready to go. So now I can walk around, I can mingle, I can reach into my coat pocket and very easily remove this book. It doesn't take up a whole lot of pocket space. Some of the other books, for example, I have here the Gangs of New York, just to compare. This is the size difference here, if I can bring that up for you so you guys can see. Right, so this is Gatsby, this is Gangs of New York. Now, nothing wrong with having a nice thick book here, but like I said, for my walk around workers, this is going to be fantastic. Now, the Great Gatsby is your gimmick, and I mentioned that it works with other books as well. 2 out of these 6 methods will require you to have other books. One of these 6 methods is going to be used for the random book test. Now, this is meant to feel just like the name implies. It's meant to feel random, right? We have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. We have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And the thing that I love about this now is that these books are all different sizes. One of the things that I know a lot of people have been asking is, Josh, are you ever going to put out a book test that's not the same size? I don't want it to look like all of my books are from different publishers. Well, Josh made sure to do that with this one. He made sure to find a collection of books that'll be fun to read minds with, as well as look just like I grabbed a bunch of random books off of my shelf. Now, these are completely ordinary books. These are not gimmicked in any way. You can go to any store and you can get these. However, it is very, very important that you get a very specific set of books. There's an ISBN number with each book. Josh is going to give you the exact ISBN that you need so that you don't accidentally buy the wrong book. So before you buy any of the extra books, if you are going to perform this book test, make sure you get this first and check out the PDF that comes with, and then you can look at those ISBN numbers and you can go ahead and order the books that go with it. Again, if you buy this and then you pull the trigger too early and you buy a bunch of other books, even if you buy a Charlie, an Indy, and a Hitchhikers, it might not be the exact ones that you need. So make sure that you get the exact ones that you need. Now, let's just say you wanted to do walk around magic and you don't want to be carrying a whole bunch of books with you. These 2 books, again, so this is the Indiana Jones book and the Great Gatsby, both fit together right here inside of my pocket. So I can say, yeah, have you ever read Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? Well, here, check it out. Take a look at it. I also brought with me another book from the early 1900s. I'm talking, of course, of the Great Gatsby, some of my favorite books. And then you can go ahead and go into your mind reading routines using these. Now, I mentioned there's another method that uses different books. I'm talking, of course, about the Series 1 book test set. So this is the Great Gatsby, Sherlock Holmes, Scarlet Letter, and the Time Machine. All of those books work with this Great Gatsby book. Now, those books are all gimmicked. So you need those specific Zandman Book Test Series 1 books to be able to work with this. If you already have those books, you already know exactly what method I'm talking about. The other books in the Series 1 book test work as a peek for this book. The Great Gatsby book works as a peek for the random books that I showed you. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into all of the different techniques and performances that you're going to get with this book test. I'm going to break them down bit by bit so you guys know exactly what it is that you're getting into. All right, the first method that we're going to be taking a look at is the original Zandman Book Test method. If you've owned any of Josh's book tests, you already know this method. He puts it in every single one, and it's one of the easiest things that you're going to do. It's really simple. I'm just going to flip through the pages like this. At some point, you'll say stop. Wherever we stop, you look at a word and memorize it. Sound good? And don't worry, I won't look. You say stop. Right there is okay. Go ahead and look at the first word on the page there. You got it? Perfect. It's a smaller word, maybe about 5 letters or so. I want you to focus on the first letter in that word. It's the letter A, right? And the last letter in that word is it the letter R? Focus on a letter somewhere right in the middle of the word. You're thinking of the letter T? The word you're thinking of is after, isn't it? And that's it. Really, really simple. Honestly, from the moment I had you look at the word and I closed the book, I already knew which word you were thinking of. There's no forcing, no fishing, no guessing. Of course, I make it seem like I'm trying to figure out your word letter for letter, but right away, I already know exactly which word you're thinking of. Watch, I'll do it again. It's really simple. Just like this. Boom. Right there. Go ahead and look. First word is sweet. It's really simple. And again, it's not a force. They could stop anywhere. They could stop there. And then you can say, is here okay? Or do you want me to keep going? And they can say, keep going. And then I keep going all the way over here. Is that where you want me to stop? Are you sure? And then the word that they're thinking of is always, right? Hopefully you were able to see that in the camera. But really, really simple. Again, the thing that I love about Josh Zandman's book test is he includes this method in every single one. So if you have a bunch of his books, you only have to learn one technique and you can read someone's mind from a bunch of different books. You can have like 10 books on the shelf. You can have a spectator from the audience come up and join you on stage. You can have them pick any book, and then just by doing this one method, have them look at the first word on the page, memorize it, and then you can read their mind. And then you can have them pick another book, and you can do it again, and another book, and again. You could read 10 different minds, technically, if you really wanted to. And again, super, super simple. That is the original Zandman Book Test method. All right, let's take a look now at the Pegasus Page. This is another one of my favorites, just because it takes the mind reading plot and turns it more into a magical effect rather than just a mind reading trick. So same thing, I'm gonna flip through. You just say stop whenever you want, okay? Say stop. Right there is okay? Perfect. I'm gonna have you go ahead and look, not at this page over here, but this time I want you to look at this page on the right-hand side. And hopefully you could see that whole first line there, right? Go ahead and look at any word on that first line, but make it a good word, one that stands out to you, one with a lot of letters in it. We don't want to get another 3 or 4, even 5-letter word. You got one? Perfect. And I'm not going to look at the word, but I am going to look at the page number. All right, we're on page 99, just in case I need to come back to it. But you're focusing on that word, right? And I believe it started with the letter M. It's a longer word, but technically it's kind of 2 words put together. Ends with an E. Think of a letter somewhere in the middle of the word. It's like a C, right? Or maybe even an R. You're thinking of the word motorcycle, huh? Now, it's really interesting. I knew you were going to be thinking of the word motorcycle. In fact, I made a prediction right here. You see? In this prediction, hold on a second. This is a page from a book. And what page did I say we were on again? We were on page 99, right? And the word that you were thinking of, yeah, I went ahead and circled that word right at the top of the page. Motorcycle. That was the word you were thinking of, right? Now, I did tear this page from a book, and the Great Gatsby book has been right here in plain view the entire time. But let's go ahead and double check anyway. We'll flip all the way through, right? What was that, page 99? So we'll go to page 90. Okay, we're at page 90, 92, 94, 96, 98. And what do you know? I don't know if you can see this or not, but there is a page missing from the book. But not just any page. That's right, this exact page. I can place it right here into the book, into the pages of the book, and everything lines up perfectly. You can hand this to the spectator. They can examine it. They can see that all of the tears and everything, they all line up perfectly in the book. And again, super duper simple. There's only one technique that you really need to master with this, and then you'll be able to do this trick. And again, it's probably a technique that you already know, but it's really, really easy to do. The rest of it is all just walking your spectator through a list of instructions, which is very, very simple. And producing the page is practically self-working because you set this up before you do the trick. So you can have this come out of like your fire wallet, if you want to do like a big old fire wallet production, or I usually have it either inside of an envelope that I hand out at the start of the effect, or I keep it inside of my wallet, or you can stick this at the very back of the room, pinned up against the board. You can load it in someone's purse. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do with this. Once you have it set up, the page is really easy to produce. And then from a technical standpoint, again, there's only really one technique that you need to master in here, and I even teach you a couple different ways to do it. So it makes it really, really simple. And then you have them think of a word. The word appears circled on the page. That appears somewhere completely out of your control and is the exact page from the book. And the best part is you can hand this book to the spectator. You can have them flip through the pages, right? So the spectator is going to flip through the pages. The spectator is going to get to the page that's missing, and then you can hand the spectator the torn page, right? And everything matches just perfectly. Now, one question I often get asked whenever I talk about this is how examinable is it? Now, the book itself is what I like to call semi-examinable. And what I mean by that is you can't read it all the way through like a novel, right? It's not going to make sense if you try to do that. But at a first glance, you could flip through just like I'm doing. You can see that the first word on every single page is different. You're not seeing the same word all over the book, like repeated over and over and over and over again, right? For this Pegasus Page segment, there is a gimmick in here that you don't want the spectator to find. So once the page has been put back in the book, I usually take the book back from them, thank them, and then have them go ahead and go back to their seat. But you can hand the book out at the start. You can tell the spectator, just flip through, make sure the first word on every single page is different. There's nothing repeating over and over and over again or anything like that. And it passes a very quick 15-second inspection, right? So it's semi-examinable. But that is the Pegasus Page method using the Great Gatsby Book Test version 2. All right, next up is the tossed out book test. And this is where you take the book, toss it out into the audience. You're gonna have them open to a random page, just without even looking, they just open to a random page. You have them look down, but not at the first word this time. This time they're gonna look at the last word on the page. So they do that, they close the book, and then they hand the book to someone else in the audience. Someone else in the audience does the same thing without looking, flip to a random page, open it, look at the last word on the page, and close the book. You're going to do this until 5 different spectators have each chosen a word. You're going to have all 5 spectators stand up. You're going to have each of them close their eyes and think about their word. And then one at a time, you're going to read each person's mind. You're going to reveal the word that each of them are thinking of. And then you're going to say, if I got your word right, you may open your eyes and have a seat. And then all 5 spectators will sit down. Super, super simple from a technical standpoint. It's practically self-working. The book is completely out of your control the entire time. You've tossed it into the audience. You're letting the spectators do all of the work for you. So it's really, really simple. You have to memorize 5 words, but I actually do teach an alternative version of this where you don't have to memorize anything. So again, if you're one of those people like me that has a bad memory, especially when you're put on the spot, or if you're performing a bunch of Josh's different book tests and you want to do tossed out books with like 5 different books on the wall and you want them to pick which one you want to use, and you don't want to have to memorize like 25 different words, I do teach a way in the tutorial that allows you to do this without having to memorize anything. It's not as powerful in my opinion, but if you can memorize 5 words, you have a truly easy and fair miracle in your hands, because again, it's self-working. You're out of control of the book. You toss it out. You're standing way over here. You can be facing the other direction during the selection process. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to peek at. There's nothing to fish for. It really is that cut and dry. And that is the tossed out book. Now, the reverse book test is another method that uses the Great Gatsby. And this takes advantage of the tossed out book method in a different way. Rather than tossing the Great Gatsby out into the audience, having them go to a random page and look at a word, right? What you're going to do is you're going to toss 2 books out into the audience. So let's just say Great Gatsby. You toss that to one spectator on one side, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark. You toss that to another spectator on the other side. You're going to have a spectator flip through the pages on Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you're going to say, perfect, what page did you stop on? They're going to say page 88. And you're going to look at this person and you're going to say, go ahead and open to page 88 in the Great Gatsby. Super fair, I didn't touch anything, right? Don't look at the first word on the page though. I want you to look at the last word on the page, right? And they'll open to page 88, and then you'll read their mind and you'll tell them the last word on page 88. It's really that simple. So for me, again, when I'm doing my walk-arounds, usually what I'll do is I'll have both of these books, since these are the 2 smallest ones and they fit very comfortably in my pocket, right? I'll take out Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'll hand that to a spectator. I'll take out Great Gatsby, I'll hand that to another spectator, right? I'll have them both check everything out, make sure everything is good to go. I'll take Great Gatsby back, I'll flip through the pages, I'll have them look at the first word on the page and memorize it. Perfect, I get that word, I read their mind, I tell them what word they're thinking of. Then I look at the spectator over here on this side, and I say, I'm going to do the same thing again, only this time I'm going to flip through the pages here, and I'm going to have you look at Indiana Jones and get a word. Now, I haven't told you guys about the Indiana Jones book test yet, but bear with me for just a second. We're going to talk about that in a moment. I then have them look in the Indiana Jones book, and then I read their mind to tell them a word from the Indiana Jones book. And then what I'll do is I'll say, here, you flip through the Indiana Jones book. I'll give you Great Gatsby. This time you get a page number. So now the spectator is flicking through Indiana Jones, page 96. This spectator over here opens to page 96 in the Great Gatsby, and I say, don't look at the first word this time. Look at the last word instead. They do, and I read their mind and I tell them what word they're thinking of. And it's just really, really fair and really clean. And then if you want to put like a nice little punctuation mark and everything, you say, here, you know what, instead of looking at the first word on the page or just the last word on the page, I'll have you look at any word in that first line, but don't even have it be on the same page. Let's use the right page this time, and then you're going to go into your Pegasus page. You produce the page out of your Fire Wallet or whatever it is, and now you have a nice multi-layered mind reading routine using just 2 books. So it's really, really simple. If you just want to use one book even, you don't even have to have them flip through a page. You can just toss the Great Gatsby into the audience, and you can have one random spectator name any page number. So this book here is a little less than 200 pages long. It is 195 pages long. So you'll say, name any number between 1 and 195. They say 72. You say, perfect, open to page 72. And you can right away, as soon as they say that, you already know what the word is. You can read their mind and you can tell them exactly what word they're thinking of. And that, my friends, is the reverse book test. All right, so now let's get to the random books book test. I kind of talked about it a little bit in the reverse book test, but basically what this is, again, these are completely ordinary books, right? You got Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Great Gatsby is your gimmick. This is going to become your peak book for one of the other books. So you can either have 3 different spectators come up and you can hand them each a book, and then you can use the Great Gatsby as your way of getting a page. Or what you can do is you can have one spectator come up, have them choose any of those 3 books, and then you can use The Great Gatsby to read their mind based on whichever book they choose. The way that I like to do it is I tell them to come up and pick their favorite book, and then I'll pick my favorite book. If they happen to pick The Great Gatsby, then you use that, and then you pick any of the other 3 books that you're choosing. If they happen to pick any of the other 3 books, then you say, perfect, my favorite book is The Great Gatsby, right? And then you use this one. That's the way that I like to do it. And I have the built-in excuse too, because, I mean, come on, like I kind of dress like Great Gatsby, right? I mean, like, look at this. You can just put this here, and now I'm ready to go, right? All right, so what this is going to do now is this is going to give me information based on what they're looking at in the other books. And it's going to give me information on that first line of each and every single page. In Charlie and the Chocolate Factory specifically, it's also going to give me information if there is an image on the page. So if we open Charlie and the Chocolate Factory here, right, just like this, you'll see that there's an image on the page there. We'll open to another page. You see? So there's actually images as well. So let's go ahead and try this out. So I'm going to flick through the pages just like this. You say stop whenever you want. Stop right there. So page 74, right? Page 74. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and let's do Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, 74, right? So you'll have the spectator open to page 74, right? So they're on page 74 and they're looking. I'm going to try to hold this so that you guys can, hopefully you guys can see it. If you're looking at page 74, the first line, it says, was being sucked closer and closer towards, right? Hopefully that's correct. Hopefully you guys can see that there, right? And there's no image on that page, right? Here, we'll do it with another one. We'll do it with Indiana Jones this time, okay? So we'll get a page. I stopped at page 116 here, so I'll have them open to page 116, right? And hopefully you guys can see that. Page 116 laid out a remarkable map cut out of stone, right? Is that what it says? Hopefully. Laid out a remarkable map cut out of stone. Now, you don't have to necessarily read that entire first line to them. What you can do instead is you can pick 1 or 2 or even 3 words out of that line and reveal them. Or you can go for the longest word on that line and reveal it. So in this instance, that word was remarkable. I might tell them, I'm seeing a longer word, starts with the letter R. Do you know what word I'm talking about? And they say, yes. Is it the word remarkable? And you can read their mind, right? Or you can describe what it is that they're seeing. You can say, like, I'm seeing, go ahead and read the first couple of lines. I'm seeing, like, Indiana Jones maybe has laid out, like, a map or something like that. Maybe it's made out of stone. I don't know. Or are you seeing, like, a map? And then they'll say yes, right? So really, really simple. Last but not least, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So again, and it's really easy. You're literally going to this book is just telling me what's going on. So I'm going to flip through. They say stop. I already did page 94. Let's do another one. 128. So I'm going to open to page 128 in the Hitchhiker's Guide. 128. 128. And hopefully you guys can see that okay. 128. Arthur, said Arthur. Arthur, said Arthur. Right, page 128. Hopefully I got that. What does it say? Arthur, said Arthur. Right, hopefully you were able to see that. So it's really, really simple. The Great Gatsby straight up tells me, just by looking into this book, I'm able to tell them which words they're looking at in the first line in any of those other 3 books. So again, they say stop. I go like this. I say page 90. Is that okay? Go ahead and open to page 90. And real quick, I'm getting my peek. Didn't it remain an elusive shadow? Didn't it remain an elusive shadow? So I might think in my head an elusive shadow, right? So now when they open the Indiana Jones, they're thinking, okay, I'm reading this first line and you're saying, I'm seeing something about an elusive shadow. Is that true? So without even looking at that book, I already know that's exactly what they're looking at because Great Gatsby tells me. And it works for all three of these books. You can use all three, or you can pick the one that you like the most. If you're like me and you like to do walk-arounds, I recommend Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you want to do something with pictures and maybe something more relatable for kids, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the best option. Or if you really want a nice collection of amazing long words that are just super creative, like super good creative long words, there's a lot of them in Hitchhiker's Guide. Let me just give you a few here. Marvin trudged on down the corridor, right? Like a wealth there. Relationship with Zaphod was learning to distinguish between. With an I can't even say that word. Ingratiating, I think is the word. With an ingratiating little whine, the door slid open. Like these words are just very clever here. Now it is such a bizarrely improbable coincidence. Imagine you're having someone read the first line. You're saying something about an improbable coincidence or something, right? Like the words are just really cool. Trying to see if I can find. Was heightened by the fact that the inner coastline. The words also, the sensomatic had started winking in the dead of night. I mean, like, just the lines are really, really clever in this one. So I highly recommend that you get all three, because I think that there's a lot of really fun stuff you can do with it. But depending on what you're going to do with this, you can pick and choose the books that you want. You can pick and choose the methods that you want. And this also works with Series 1. So now let's talk about the Series 1 book test. All right, now let's take a look, last but not least, at the Series 1 book test. Of course, I'm talking about the original Josh Zandman book test series that uses Sherlock Holmes, Scarlet Letter, and the Time Machine, right? Those three Josh Zandman books will work with this book too. Now, the Time Machine, Scarlet Letter, and the Sherlock Holmes book are peak books kind of for each other, right? And Great Gatsby is included in that. The Great Gatsby isn't going to peek into any of those books, but those books will peek at Great Gatsby. So for example, and I don't have it, I wish I would have grabbed it and taken it out for you guys. We'll pretend like this is Sherlock Holmes, right? Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is kind of like Sherlock Holmes. He's like Sherlock Holmes that, you know, steals artifacts and puts them in a museum. So what you would do in Sherlock Holmes is you would flip through the pages, you would say stop, and you would say, perfect, page 96, go ahead and open to page 96 in The Great Gatsby. And then by looking in Sherlock Holmes, you're going to know what the first word on page 96 is in The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby words are lined up exactly in the original Great Gatsby as well as in this one, version 2. For the most part, the Pegasus Page method and one other bit inside here kind of interfere with that a little bit, but there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 6 pages that don't match up, and in the tutorial I teach you my way around that too. But you have here jam-packed, full of stuff just in this one book, plus the Series 1 books, Sherlock Holmes, Scarlet Letter, and Time Machine, to peek at this as well. So what you could do now is you could have these 4 books, right? So you have Great Gatsby, almost forgot the name of the book. You have Great Gatsby, Indiana Jones, you have Hitchhiker's Guide, you have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, you also have Sherlock Holmes, Scarlet Letter, and Time Machine. You have all of these books. And you can have someone from the audience come up, and again, like I said, you can do it my way, which is pick any book that you like, and I'll pick one that I like. Or pick your favorite of these, and I'll pick my favorite of these, or whatever, right? Or what you can do is you can have 2 or 3 different spectators come up, you can have each of them pick a book, and then depending on what books they choose, you just launch into that method. So this is perfect for someone that's trying to put like a full, it feels really big, without having to have a whole ton of stuff. I mean, I'm just talking about a few books here. It feels really big. It plays really big to a large audience. You could perform this for 2,000 people if you want to, right? Or if you're a walk-around performer and you're just looking for something close up to do from table to table, all you really need is this one book, and you have a full multi-phase routine in here. And then if you really wanted to, like I said, maybe the Indiana Jones book goes with that. And they look great together too, right? They look almost like, you know, they could go together. I mean, the Great Gatsby, it's the 1920s. Indiana Jones is the 1930s. You can tie them together that way, right? Different aspects of the way things go inside the books themselves. They're both about the same size, right? The color schemes are similar enough that it just aesthetically looks really nice, but they're also different enough that it doesn't feel like it's coming from the same publisher, right? They look like they're from different publishers. So if you're one of those people that are worried about that, you can just say, yeah, I just grabbed these two books off my shelf on my way over. There are a couple of my favorite books that have also been adapted into television shows, right? You got Harrison Ford over here, and you've got the Leonardo DiCaprio there. I was trying to think who it was. Leonardo DiCaprio over here in The Great Gatsby. So you have a whole ton of stuff here. I really hope that this first look video was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions for me about any of this, because I know it's a lot, 6 different methods jam-packed in here. If you have any questions about any of them, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Don't forget to subscribe here at O'Brien Magic on YouTube, and if you guys want to support me, feel free to click the join button as well and become a member of the Mob. Mob Squad members will get full access to my tutorials playlist as well. My tutorials playlist has over 65 full tutorials in it at the time of making this video. So that is also jam-packed full of stuff. If you guys want to learn any of my material, I highly recommend doing that. It's only $5 a month, and you guys will get full access to that whole library full of my own original material. Anyway, my name is Michael O'Brien. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Link in the description of where you can find all of Josh Zandman's books. And I'll see you guys next time with another first look video. Take care.